What's going on, guys? It's Zach here, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. On this one, I should be going over all the latest injury updates, answering any sort of start-sit questions you guys have, and giving you guys just as much information as I can before these games get rolling in Week 10. We're already into the fourth quarter so far on the Colts-Patriots game. Looks like that the one's going to come down to the wire. The Patriots are currently down 4, but they're driving. So we'll see what happens there. It's been kind of a boring game, not really necessarily worth getting up at 6:30 in the morning here to watch it, but it's football at least, so we got that. We'll just get things started off here. I'll get into the morning games for the 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff game, starting off with the Baltimore Ravens. Keaton Mitchell, questionable all week. He's expected to play. I'd expect him to split carries with Gus Edwards. I don't think we'll see as much Justice Hill as we've seen in the past. Probably see close to like a 40-40-20 split would be my bet between the two. Obviously, I think Gus Edwards ends up getting the goal line work. I don't think I'm playing really any Ravens running back in this matchup. It's just a really tough matchup against the Browns. I certainly would prefer to avoid that entirely if I can. Next game, we've got the Bengals at Texans. Lots to talk about here. Ja'Marr Chase is going to suit up in this one. He warmed up and sounds like he's going to be good to go and will be playing today. So that's obviously very encouraging. We don't know exactly how active he's going to be, how involved he's going to be. Obviously, he wasn't entirely 100% with that back injury. So keep an eye on him. But obviously, you're going to be playing Ja'Marr Chase. It's just probably not someone I'd be targeting in DFS or anything. On the other side of the ball, or not the other side of the ball, on the other side of the field, though, T. Higgins, he's going to be inactive today. Obviously, flared up with a hamstring injury during the course of the week. I think that makes Tyler Boyd an actually relatively good start if you guys want to play him. I don't think I'd get cute with any of the tight ends or Trent Irwin or anything like that, but I think T. Higgins is certainly someone that you is going to be missed for this offense, so it should open up things a lot for Tyler Boyd. On the other side of the ball, with the Houston Texans, Nico Collins and Dameon Pierce are both going to be out, along with their kicker, which is sort of a fun story. We saw Dario Ogunbowale kick a field goal last week. That was fun, but for the Texans, this just means we're going to see a lot of targets go to Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, and Noah Brown. I think all three of those guys can be in lineups. Obviously, I think Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz are probably just must starts at this point. Noah Brown, more of like a fringe flex play, but someone that I'd be pretty confident starting. I have one DFS lineup that I put together this week, put Noah Brown in it, so someone that I do think is poised for a relatively decent game here. Next, we got the Jaguars in the 49ers. Zay Jones is going to be inactive for the Jacksonville Jaguars today. He continues to just miss time. Makes it so we're pretty clearly going to be the Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley show again. The Niners actually can get beat through the air. They do give up quite a few fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. So you're obviously playing both of those guys. For the 49ers, sounds like everyone's going to be active, including Trent Williams, who missed practice a lot this week, and there was some concern that he could miss. But the Niners should be at full strength this week. I expect this to be a really good game. I'd really want to be playing every single 49er that's like fantasy relevant. Next, we've got the Minnesota Vikings. A couple players to talk about. Justin Jefferson, obviously, he was questionable all week. Sounds like they're going to give him one extra week. He's not going to be playing. Jaren Hall, their rookie quarterback, who had like a decent drive last week before getting injured, he's going to be out. It's going to be Joshua Dobbs for sure. KJ Osborne did get cleared to play from concussion protocol, but the coach decided to hold him out, giving him one more week, sort of a player safety thing. I don't really think there's anybody outside of Addison and Hawkinson that I'd be looking at. I know Bilal Powell's been good in spurts so far, and he will be the next man up. He'll be their number 2 wide receiver this week, but against the tough Saints defense with just a new quarterback and obviously with how involved Hawkinson and Addison are going to be, I don't think I really want to be playing Bilal Powell unless I'm like super desperate. Like I said, with Hawkinson, all signs do point towards Hawkinson suiting up. I know he's been banged up this week, but it sounds like he'll be ready to go. For the Saints, Michael Thomas, he is expected to play. He had an off-the-field incident. It sounds like he broke a guy's windshield with a brick. Don't exactly know the whole story there, but it sounds like he is going to play. He's not expected to miss this game, so I think he's just like a low-end flex play, someone that you can be using, but not someone that I'm super excited about. Probably missed some time with the team over the last couple of days, so obviously not something to be super excited about there. Kendre Miller for the Saints as well did get banged up, so he's not going to be playing this week. That does make Jamal Williams and Alvin Kamara the only 2 running backs in New Orleans. Obviously, I'm not playing Jamal Williams, although I do think he does need to be rostered because if something did happen to Alvin Kamara, he could be certainly relevant. And then Kamara is obviously a must start here. Aside of that, for the Titans, we've got Treylon Burks. He's not going to be active today. Just wasn't able to get cleared by anything for this week after suffering that concussion last week, but glad to hear that he's doing a lot better. It looked pretty scary last week. And then Ryan Tannehill, he's going to be inactive this week despite being declared the backup. They're just not going to put him through the scenario where he's got to be the backup. So it'll be Will Levis for sure this week. For the later games, we've got James Conner and Kyler Murray returning to action for the Arizona Cardinals. That's obviously super exciting. I think that the offense should be better, although I'd expect rust out of both of those players. obviously tread lightly with starting both of them. I've got one league with James Conner, and I'm starting him in that league. So I think he's a guy that can definitely be in your lineup, but I'm starting him over Gabe Davis, and it was a tough decision for me. So that's a half PPR format as well. So that's the sort of range I'm putting James Conner in. Obviously, you're hoping he scores a touchdown. The Falcons are a really good run defense, but I think we could see a lot of checkdowns to James Conner as well. I will note as well that Amari DeMarcado is inactive again, so it will be just James Conner and Keontae Ingram. They obviously dropped Tony Jones Jr. as well this week, so I think you're pretty safe playing James Conner, but I wouldn't expect a ceiling game for him at all. Michael Wilson, he's trending towards playing as well. I'm not going to start him this week, but I do think he needs to be on fantasy rosters. There's a chance here that this Cardinals offense takes a huge step forward, and that could be huge for a guy like Michael Wilson, who should be their number 2 wide receiver. After that, for the Atlanta Falcons in that same game, Mac Hollins is going to be out in this game. Obviously, Drake London should be returning, which is super exciting. So it'll be good to have Drake London back. I'm not going to get cute with any of the other wide receivers. Well, if you want to do like a DFS dart throw, then Kadarius Hodge is sort of interesting, but I'm not going to go there in any sort of redraft scenario. Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's trending to play for the Detroit Lions today. Still obviously learning the playbook after coming over in a trade. I'm not going to play any of these like ancillary pieces for Detroit. I'm not playing Josh Reynolds, Jameson Williams, or Donovan Peoples-Jones, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So I don't think I want to be even rostering any of them outside of Reynolds and Jameson Williams. I wouldn't be rostering DPJ by any means, but if you want to roster him and see what happens, you certainly could do that. And then for the Washington Commanders, Curtis Samuel sounds like he's going to be playing. That does sort of limit the upside a little bit of guys like Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson, but against the bad Seattle Seahawks secondary, they give it up pretty easily to opposing wide receivers. Obviously, the Commanders' defense in general is really bad too. So I think we could see a shootout in Seattle there. I think I'm still playing Dotson and Terry McLaurin, but I don't think I'd be playing Curtis Samuel, even though he should be active here. Outside of that, nothing else really to report from an injury standpoint. I'll pull up anything else I can pull up here, but it doesn't seem like there's anything else that I missed. Paris Campbell's questionable to play later on today. That's not something that I'd be super excited about. I will note that Chris Godwin popped up on the injury report with an illness. He's going to play, but I would be a little bit more concerned about him. Obviously, it's a really great matchup against Tennessee, so I'm still going to play him, but wheels up for Mike Evans. Like this could be a big Mike Evans week. What else do we got here? Robert Woods as well. I may not have mentioned it. He's going to be returning for the Houston Texans. I'm not playing Robert Woods by any means, but I do think this could be a situation where he ends up being a sneaky guy and sort of steals a lot of targets. So it could sort of put a damper on guys like Noah Brown, but I still think I prefer Noah Brown over anyone outside of Tank Dell in that wide receiver room, and just not going to be super excited about that for sure. Yeah, so that looks like that's about everything. If any of you guys have specific start-sit questions or anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. Doesn't seem like anybody said anything yet, so not too many, just 2 of you guys here. So if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'll sit around until about that 10-minute mark in the stream, so a couple more minutes, and then I'll let you guys go, and hopefully you guys can get all set and get ready to hopefully win your matchups this week. What else? It's good to see Demario Douglas play this week. He looks like he's going to be a legit flex option for people going forward. He's someone that I've got in a couple leagues. He's performed really well despite being questionable all week. So I think he's going to be a legit asset, a guy that you guys can use. So I do like him. Definitely someone that I think needs to be rostered in more leagues, and someone that I think we can start playing on a relatively consistent basis if we're in a full PPR format. So relatively excited about Demario Douglas putting up a quality game, even in a game where the Patriots haven't scored a touchdown yet. Cool. I guess I'll also note Marquise Goodwin for the Cleveland Browns is not going to be playing this week, along with David Bell being banged up. That does make Cedric Tillman effectively their 3rd wide receiver this week behind Elijah Moore and Amari Cooper. It'll be a good opportunity for Cedric Tillman. I think in deeper leagues, he should be rostered as just like a dart throw. He's a talented player. I like him. I think he's got a shot to carve out a role in the offense, and Elijah Moore really hasn't done much. So that number 2 wide receiver role in this offense is very much available to him. I think Cedric Tillman definitely should be on more rosters than he is right now, but obviously he's more of a deep league lad than anything else. And yeah, so yeah, I guess no questions. I'll just thank you guys for stopping by. Hopefully you guys can get some wins this week, and yeah, I'll catch you later with the waiver video Tuesday morning. So thanks guys. Good luck this week.